Welcome back, Cubs. Dire Wolf here. I'm here with Chrome Fotter and the Ranting Monkey. How you guys doing?
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
I just want to do a quick video because I'm unable to actually do a real response video about this Berkeley riot that was on 15 April. And I just want to talk about some of the things going on there. I did tweet out quite a bit, but have you guys seen some of the videos?
I've seen still shots. I haven't seen the actual videos.
Well,
especially the one going around with that girl who got punched in the face.
Right.
So
A lot
of rehashes of that one.
Yeah, currently playing some video in the background from Lauren Southern, who was there on the ground reporting. So the story behind this was there was two events. There was a very well advertised free speech pro-Trump event where they had speakers like Lauren Southern, Ann Coulter, and multiple other conservative side commentators, and they made it very obvious. So there's a lot of time for Antifa and liberal groups to plan a counter protest, and the police were somewhat ready for it. They had a no man's zone in between the two groups, and they had them set up in two different sides of a big grass field. And they did enforce that neutral zone. However, the two groups left the grass areas and went into the streets and started fighting in the street adjacent to the protest and event. All in all, there was 20 arrests, 11 injuries. The arrests included felony assault with a deadly weapon. On the way into the event, the free speech event, the people were removed of any non-lethals and self-defense things like bear mace, but only on the free speech side, whereas the Antifa came with clubs, bear mace, and fireworks, as well as they either found or brought rocks that were end up being thrown and caused some of the injuries.
So a nice peaceful protest.
Very peaceful. Now, I'm not going to say that all the violence was on the Antifa side, because if you watch the video, you'll see there are some provocators on the free speech side. You could try justifying it, but
I can see what you're saying there. However, the Trump support protest was set up long before the other one. The other one was specifically set up to cause this to happen.
Correct.
No, that doesn't give you a right to kick somebody's ass. But I kind of give them a little more leeway because they were setting up a protest, well, not even a protest, a rally that wasn't going to cause any problems. It would have just been some people celebrating. These other assholes come in specifically to cause problems.
Correct.
That was the whole reason for them being there.
So when you watch this video, particularly the one I'm showing in the background right now, you'll see maybe like 4 Trump supporter side. I hate calling this because they don't really have a group. But so I hate distinguishing a group by their leader. Anyways, so you'll see like 4 people that are provocating on that side. But then the Antifa, every last one of them there were for a fight, right?
Yeah.
And Fox News is reporting that they had funding for this event because they had a lot of time to plan for it, coming from George Soros, Michael Moore, and Al Sharpton. This was a planned. They're coming there. They're funded to pick fights, and it's very obvious by the fact that they brought weapons that are deadly force weapons.
Well, yeah, even going back to that chick who got punched, the one that there's been, she in her Facebook post, she said she wanted to get at least 100 scalps. Like that, what kind of rhetoric is that?
Right. And I think this comes back to the fact that when this started, when there was small events where this happened, the media, the left-leaning media, and a lot of the louder voices on the left did not condemn violence towards people they disagree with. We have examples of it on YouTube where we have people that are loud voices for the left that are saying it was okay to punch Spencer. It was okay for the riots to try to kill Milo, burn his building down because they didn't agree with him. They were okay with this. And when there's no pushback from their own side, it only escalates. So the decision to go from a war of words to a war with actual violence is being made on the left. And you can't, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that the right's is going to say, yeah, let's get ourselves beat up and not respond? There's going to be a response. They're being forced into it.
Yeah, because there are other choices to get the shit beat out of them.
Right. Now, in no way am I saying that is okay for anyone on the right side to have gone out and try to pick a fight. But when they were responding to a fight that came to them, they are completely legitimate in responding with violence. And my opinion is that this free speech rally was a great thing, and more of these things need to happen. Not the fight, the free speech rally. We need to have more of these events because we cannot let them deter us, but I would say we need to do something different in the future. We need to bring and insist that the non-lethals and self-defense weapons are permitted on the persons who are allowed to legally carry them in those rallies, because we need to be able to have at least an equal response. And they need to be, I'm not saying that they should be, going out and intending to hurt anyone, but they should be able to defend their own safety.
Oh, absolutely. I get why the police made sure everybody was disarmed on the one side, but it needed to happen on both sides, or you have to let it. This is going to come down to something horrific that's going to end up in the history books forever. Yep. That's what it's going to take for this shit to finally stop.
Yeah. And I think the catalyst is that we have an ever more escalating left, and the right is going to have to respond. They're forcing their hand, and that's what's going to lead to this. I mean, the first event, if you ever have one of these events in, say, I don't know, Texas or Kentucky, a place where you have a lot more people that have firearms and are willing to use them, and laws that are a little looser for self-defense, I can see this going very badly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame the people defending them lives. I wouldn't blame the conservative or the right-leaning or the Trump supporters for protecting themselves. But I know that when they do, and it's what I would do, I know it's going to lead to bigger riots, bigger fights. And if they're willing to burn, if Black Lives Matter and Antifa are willing to burn their own communities, their own homes, their own corner stores to the ground, what do you think is going to happen to everything else? It's going to go out.
The one thing that is good so far is that they are burning their own crap mostly. But
ironic.
Like with today, I mean, it's going to spread. They're going to be spreading their hatred out. They specifically did this for this reason. They didn't have this rally because they believed in something. It was to be assholes today.
Yes. And a lot of people like to throw around the boogeyman of George Soros, right? Who devotes a lot of money to inciting violence. But I would say it's more than just being him. There's an elite group of people who are very wealthy, who have a lot of power, and this is in their best interest for us to be fighting ourselves over stupid shit.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge believer there. You go.
No, I was just gonna say you're absolutely right. I mean, this is the same thing with the whole racism and sexism thing. There's people out there who profit from that shit, and if it were ever solved, they would have to go out and find something else to do with themselves. It's an industry.
If you look at the other two people on the list of funders for this event, Michael Moore, a shill for beliefs he knows are not true, but he knows that by continuing to try to make controversy, he will continue getting money and continuing his relevancy. And then Al Sharpton, who is the biggest race baiter out there. These people have a vested interest in causing conflict. Now, Chrome Fodder, I know this is not your country, but what's your feelings on this event?
Well, like I was saying earlier, we do actually have Antifa here in the UK, which is really disappointing, to be honest. Apparently, we even have BLM, but that's topic for another video.
Yeah.
God, the last thing we need is those people, anyway.
He means it, Black Lives Matter, the group.
But, yeah, it's just so sad to see people like this in the world. Why are they even doing this? They're just screwing up their own countries.
Yeah. I have trouble. I probably should have a debate sometime, or at least a question, interview with someone from the anti-government side. I'm a supporter of government. I'm obviously I work for it, right? But I'm supportive of a small constitutional government that has lots of restraints on it, because I think that there's very few things government should do. But protecting us is one of those most important things, and the police failed here.
Oh yeah,
they failed miserably.
Well, they didn't just fail there. They made it worse.
Yeah.
One, the barrier between the two groups was a plastic orange fence.
Yeah,
and
it's construction netting.
Yeah, and if you watch the Berkeley riots from when Milo was there, you should have known that wasn't going to hold up at all.
Yeah.
They I don't know what more they could have done. I know what they shouldn't have done. They shouldn't have disarmed people. Give them a fighting chance if you're going to invite that shit.
Yeah, there is possible they could have locked off the entire courtyard. It seems from the cam footage from the sky that this place could have been completely locked off to Antifa. Their protests could have been kept out of that area. They could still have their lawful protest, but trying to defend a line in the middle of a big open area was senseless. They're just going to go around it. That's what happened. So they needed to create a defensible position that the police could defend, not depending on the people to do it. And then they should have enforced it with more people, more cops. There was very few there. If you look at the ratio of cops to people, there was a really sad amount of police there.
I think what didn't really help is that the police that were there decided to just vanish the moment anything actually started going wrong.
It seemed like that from some of the camera views. With some of the camera views I saw, it looked like they were just in the very wrong place because the protests moved. And I saw towards the end of this video that some people were trying to get the cops to come over to where the fights were. But yeah, they were out of position because they didn't want to deviate from their battle plan of we're going to enforce this line that is completely ineffective. What do you guys think of Lauren Southern's get up with the helmet and the goggles and the respirator?
Didn't help. Apparently, she's still got pepper spray in the eyes.
Right. So yeah,
next time she might want to wear a tank.
You just wear it. She had like 4 security guards with her too, right? That were acting as barriers. It was really hard to hear her reporting through that construction style mask that does not stop the pepper spray. So it was kind of pointless. Anyways, so this is going to keep happening. And I think it was good that they picked Berkeley because this is where these voices are not being heard. Really, on a college campus, you need to have diversity of thought, and they've been keeping it out. I have a lot of Cubs that have said that they used to be these social justice warriors. They used to believe the same things that this violent crowd believed, but they were not hearing any evidence or any arguments to the contrary. They're all college-age students, you know? Do you ever get comments like that, Monkey? I know you got more subscribers than me.
I actually do, and a lot of my YouTube friends are the same way. Batgirl, SDA, Irate Bear, Miss Misa, all of them used to be social justice warriors, and with the exception of Irate Bear, they were all younger, and it was the way that they were just brought up through school because that's what's taught to them. And this is one of the things I get into arguments with people about on how we present our side of the argument. We're supposed to be all civil and nice, and I have never met anyone who say changed their mind from watching Tildeer, who does very, mostly kind content. He's not openly mean. Everybody that I hear from is, I watch Sargon, I watch Bearing. It's people who had to almost be shaken out of this crap.
Yeah, because there's some way a cult works is for the more effective the cult is the more parts of your life it gets attached to, the more parts of your identity that you start associating to this belief system. And the way this social justice mentality is, you build up so much of your personal view of yourself in this belief system, and stopping believing this thing actually is a painful event for somebody. They have to give up a lot of what they've thought they've known about the world.
Well, yeah, and part of that is because any challenging of their belief, no matter how nice it is seen as an insult.
Yes, an attack, racism.
Yeah, you don't question what I think. And no matter how nice you are, they get offended. So I'm not like, I try not to be like too mean about things, but I think the best way to get through to those kind of people is to just be honest, whether you're brutally honest or just honest. I don't think it makes too much of a difference, but yeah, I've just seen way too many people, you got to be nice. No, nice doesn't work, because to them, just because you're disagreeing is an insult.
Yes. And I try to walk the line where I am more boring and I like research, right? But if you've seen my content, I'm still doing responses. I try to mesh the two together because I want someone to hear how dumb the other argument is, but also to have the facts to back up what the opinion is, Yeah. So it's a line I got to walk. And then I used to be my first videos. You've been subscribed to me since you're my 5th subscriber, I think. I was more passionate, more insulting. I did try to tone it down a little bit when I started realizing I had a bunch of Cubs that were like age 14. I'm like, holy cow. I didn't know people like that watched these kind of videos. So I try to be a little more civil.
I see. For me, I go the opposite way, knowing kids are. Now I try to be less vulgar.
That's what I meant.
But no less civil, because again, it got to look at the generation we're talking about. I mean, in my day, the kind of stuff that I've heard on YouTube would have been so risky, so risque.
Right.
But today it's just like, whatever. You can watch worse than that on network television.
True.
I see 6 and 7 year olds come into where I work, and well, they've got more of a mouth on them than I have.
Oh my God, yes. Kids today, if I talk like that and my mother heard me, she would have just killed me and started over.
Yeah, probably.
I think I would have had the same issue with my dad.
If I were to say some of those things, even if my parents knew the way I'm speaking now, if I was back when I was a kid, they'd like look like I'd hit them in the face. They'd be so disappointed. I can't believe you said that.
Oh yeah. Well, I used to work at Walmart, and there was this one time there was this kid in there who was just being horrible, just horrible. And his mom told him to stop, and he looked at her and said, "Shut up, bitch." And I'm like, she's gonna kill him. And no, she just turned around and walked away. I'm like, yeah, times have changed.
There's been a lot of social engineering towards trying to change how people punish their kids, and by that I mean not punishing them. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
it might hurt their feelings.
So yeah,
no, I'm serious. It's bad for their self-esteem. That's what people are being told now.
Fuck that. I mean, that's
I'm with you.
You know what's bad against my self-esteem? Being smacked across the ass with a lump of wood.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to create barriers and rules and enforce them. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the kind of kids we're looking at on the stream right now.
But you also have to realize there's some parents who think that would be a great thing. If only their kid was like that.
If they were a menace to society, it's a good thing. I know you're right, but it's just mind-boggling.
That's the world we're in.
This is okay. Imagine we were in another that required some sort of unity. This would be a destructive force in our society. We would be self-destructive. We would not be as effective, and that's a war. But I mean, just in general as a culture, when you have the populace so divided, so at each other's throats, you're never going to have the same level of production and freaking synergy. This is bad for society. We're going to be less productive as a society if we are divided.
Absolutely.
Just economically, it's social progress wise. I'm not talking about social progress like trying to find social justice, but how a society progresses. It's going to be hindered. It's going to be retarded by this kind of division.
Well, the whole social justice movement is setting back civilization. You're right about this, but if you also look at how they're trying to change language. They're changing language to the point where it literally means nothing. Language is how we advance.
So I had we did the video on Heart's Progress, and the leader of the movement of Heart's Progress called me a bigot. I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm a bigot. I'm bigoted against people who want to sexually abuse kids. Now what? Where does the conversation go? I'm okay with that. Your word no longer affects me. It's meaningless in our society.
Yeah,
it's like calling me racist. Everyone will call me racist from the social justice crowd, no matter what I say, because I disagree with them. So the word means nothing to me. All right, I'm racist now. Now what?
I would quite proudly wear a shirt that says, "I hate pedophiles." I'm not ashamed of that at all.
I wear a badge on my uniform, on my flak vest, that says infidel, because I fucking am. I'm proud of it.
Oh, I saw someone walking around town with that, and I just had to ask them where to get one.
Yeah, their words they use as weapons have been so misused, just twisted. Like if you take the Milo video, twisting the word, what the meaning of racist is so much that basically everyone is racist unless you're not white.
Yeah, only white people. Because we suck, fucking white people.
I know we're so terrible because we have opinions that run counter to social justice. It's what causes it, and all this years of oppression that I was not involved in.
Well, one of the funniest things to me is when I hear about how I've benefited from slavery, and anybody who says that to me in America, you did too. No matter what color your skin is, you're benefiting the same way I am.
Yep.
That's what the nation was built on. That's not my fault or even your fault. But don't say stupid stuff because I'll point that out.
And if really what comes down to it was members of society, the elites, the very wealthy, and mostly on the Democrat and southern side that were benefiting from slavery because not everyone owned slaves. A lot of white people, the vast majority, did not own a slave ever in their lineage.
Yeah, even the one they might have wanted to, but most white people were poor, as dirt poor, and you had to be rich to have slaves.
There were some white people who did the same jobs as slaves, but they were poor.
Well, there was the case of the Irish as well, who were actually often sacrificed in place of the slaves because they were seen as worse.
Right, yeah.
Seen as less important.
So, and then you throw in the fact that I don't know how we got in slavery, but whatever. The fact that black slave traders were the ones who took people from Africa and were selling them to the people in America. It was black people oppressing black people to be oppressed by a minority of white people in America. You guys should be more angry at the people who were slave traders in Africa.
Or how about this? How about let it go because it actually hasn't affected you at all?
True.
The slave
Considering that pretty much anyone involved in the slave trade has been dead for what, over 100 years nearly or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Unless you're Tanya Mojo or however the hell you say her name, and she says there's still people alive who were slaves, which okay, they're very, very, very old.
They could be like the oldest people in the world.
Yes, they would be.
Yeah,
called the world record.
It's just virtue signaling crap. That doesn't mean anything. It's a way to whine and have their victim status, and that's another thing that holds society back. Stop being a damn victim about everything.
I'm totally fine with condemning an actual racist who is actually causing harm, right?
Yes.
But the vast majority of people being accused of this racism, of that, and then now it's watered down so that the actual racists are being lost in the mix, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who are legitimately need the government to step in and protect their freedoms. And we have laws to help them with that. But the vast majority of the problems they complain about are first world problems that amount to nothing. It really hurts me that I see so much pain and suffering in my job, so much stuff that average people will not see. And that's real problems that really require government intervention. But they're complaining about shit in comparison. And it is... You guys have messed up priorities. I don't support, starting a draft or forcing anyone to the military, but God, it'd be helpful if those people that are currently out in the streets got to go overseas and see some people with real problems.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem with our country these days, is the fact that we're starting to lose perspective on our place within the context of the world. There has never been a point in history when the problems of human trafficking and sex slavery haven't been a problem. But, we look at the democracy that we have in America and how these problems are more or less not nearly as big as a problem as they are in certain other parts of the world. And we take it for granted. We don't realize exactly how fragile it is. That democracy like this can only survive if people are complacent to be governed in such a way that is fair for everybody. But as soon as everybody, starts getting a special snowflake hair up their ass about, no, but what about me and my feelings, and stops looking at it in terms of the context of society and what's good for the whole, and, it all becomes about, me, shit starts eventually falling apart, and we start seeing shit, like what just happened in Berkeley, and this rise of trying to legalize pedophilia. It's if there's anything that I've learned over the past year, and especially since I started my YouTube channel, it's that democracy and all of these Western values that we take for granted every day, they're fragile. They can fall apart very easily, which is why we need to stop shit like this when we see it start.
So thank you guys all for being involved in the live stream. I think we had a great discussion, but I do actually have work today, so I need to go. So you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
Yep. See you, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, take it easy.
Have a good one.